But that's alright.
Yo, guys, what is up? Max here on Borderlands 3 video, and today we're talking about Chain Zane. Now, Chain Zane is one of my favorite Zane builds, and ever since the clone got mayhem scaling, it's fallen a little bit behind. However, today we're updating it so it can do crazy bossing damage and still maintain its mobbing prowess. Real quick before we get into the video, guys, to celebrate my 1-year anniversary tomorrow, Saturday, 9/20, we are going to be doing a 24-hour stream on the Twitch channel. It's going to be absolutely crazy. I got merch to give away, Borderlands 3 codes to give away, DLC codes to give away, Manscaped packages to give away. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you guys haven't gone over and followed the Twitch yet, be sure to go over to the Twitch channel, hit that follow button. I really do appreciate it. And with that, guys, let's get right into the video. Alright guys, so typically right here is where I put the skill tree on the screen. Now I will put the skill tree on the screen, but I just want to real quick talk about these last 8 points. Now we only got 5. These are the core points needed for this build to operate well. We're going all the way down, getting Supersonic Man. We've got Confident Competence, and we've got our blue tree pretty filled out. Now these points that are left over, these 8 points, are mainly quality of life things that we can look for. Now, at the moment, I've only got 3 into Violent Violence, and depending on where your class mod is going to be spec'd of your Seeing Dead, it'll be either spec'd into Donnybrook, Playing Dirty, or Violent Violence. I recommend having around 5 on any of them. Do not put more than 5 into Playing Dirty. It's a waste. So with these last 8 points, I'll show you guys what I did. If you guys want to do something else, that's totally fine. The build doesn't change drastically, but I maxed out reload speed because reload speed is amazing and directly correlated to our damage. If you don't have a class mod that is 2 points into Violent Violence, you're gonna want to have 5 here. This is just fire rate. You're not gonna get Playing Dirty procs off this class mod of a kill skill. Violent Violence is just fire rate, so even having more Violent Violence is fine. You really don't need 7 out of 5 here. But just to show you guys, I do like having 5 into Violent Violence. It's a great skill. We've got 5 points left. There's nothing in Green Tree that we can really grab. Nothing too great left in Blue Tree, and nothing that we really need in Red Tree. So what I do with these 5 points, which is pretty much our remaining points, is I'll put a few into Cold Bore. Now this bonus cryo damage isn't great. After your next shot, after you're swapping weapons, you're going to deal bonus cryo damage. Not great, it's just 1 shot. It is a little bit better, and it is nice for bossing, but it's mainly that weapon swap speed. Just a nice quality of life thing to have. And then depending on how you feel, 3 points in borrowed time is typically way more than enough. You get away with 3 points into borrowed time, keeping up your action skill all the time. We've got 1 extra point. I put it in Playing Dirty or Cold Bore. I'm probably going to toss it into Playing Dirty for that extra shot chance, or Cold Bore, or borrowed time. Yeah, and that is the build for our augments. I use these. Just the best. We've used these augments for forever. They do not need any changing, and that is the build. Now for mobbing, the setup that I'm rocking is still the same setup. I use a Old God with movement speed increased by 15%. The Old God is going to give us bonus cryo damage. The weapons I'm using are Sentinel cryo weapons. We're using a Sentinel cryo redistributor. Now the redistributor was technically nerfed. However, I still think it is one of the best mobbing weapons. It is no longer, when you have a scattering of enemies, it's no longer your best option. However, for example, on the bridge during the Malon takedown, during that second part of the bridge, there's so many enemies grouped up, and besides like a Plague Bearer, nothing quite works as well as the redistributor. That or a Reflux are 2 good choices, and the redistributor is still great. Now, the best weapon on this build, straight up, once again, same kind of thing with Amara, is the Light Show. If you can get Light Shows with Sentinel Cryo Anoints, I have a Shock one, a Corrosive one, a Rad one. They destroy everything. Light Shows on this build are incredible, especially with that high fire rate that we're going to get boosted with our kill skills. Another cool weapon is the Hellwalker. Now, the Hellwalker's damage is ridiculous, and moving around with this thing, you can pretty much one-tap most enemies. Shout out to the Smog, also a cool weapon. I haven't been able to get a level 65 one, but just because it's a really hard farm, but my level 61 still works pretty well. And the Bloodstarved Beast is good, but I really actually think it underperforms a little bit on this build. I wish it did a little bit better. So not gonna absolutely recommend a Bloodstarved Beast. I'd mainly go for redistributors, Light Shows, and Hellwalkers. Now, one of the big changes for this build that is going to help us keep up with damage using our redistributor and using these other weapons is we are making the permanent swap on this build. Sorry, controller died. We are making the permanent swap on this build from a Pearl to the Icebreaker Victory Rush. Icebreaker Victory Rush, at the end of the day, is just, and I've mentioned this in the other videos, but it's if you can get a really good rolled passive one, such as like SMG damage, magazine size, and area effect damage, it's just going to do a lot more for you than the Pearl, especially with all of Zane's gun damage and just getting diminishing returns. Now, if you cannot get a great rolled Icebreaker Victory Rush, I still recommend the Pearl, but swapping to this Icebreaker Victory Rush on the redistributor made a world of difference for our mobbing on the bridge and our clear speed, so definitely recommend that. Now, Seeing Dead is still a class mod. You guys know Seeing Dead is freaking ridiculous. Absolutely. There is no better class mod, unfortunately, for Zane at the moment. And this build just synergizes so well with it. You're going to keep up your action skills all the time. You'll always have Sentinel active. You'll always get that 100% cryo. You'll be moving around really quickly, scaling your damage off of your movement speed. It just works really well. Now, for bossing, the bossing kills that you guys saw, I was using a level 50 antifreeze that is a pretty much god roll. I still have it. I haven't gotten a better one since then, and using backburners. Now, the other things that I switch up, and I keep these on me, is I had a snowdrift with area effect damage. Not a great rolled snowdrift, but I was just looking for a snowdrift with area effect damage. That's perfect. I will use a grenade with an ASE, such as, like, for example, just any grenade with a random ASE, and either a version O.M or a one-shotter shield. Now, if you can get a one-shotter shield, that's great, but I'd recommend going for like a version O.M. That or a rerouter, both will work just fine. The main thing is that we're going to get an amp shot. The backburner is a single projectile, so we're going to get the most damage out of things like a rerouter or a version O.M. The strategy here is to proc your action skills, proc your anointments, proc your kill skills, and then slide and shoot. Now, the timing of the slide and shoot, you're going to want to try to shoot during the beginning of your slide as opposed to the end of your slide. So, and that was one of the things that if you're not one-shotting bosses, it's a little weird to say, but take a look at when you're shooting at your slide. For example, if I'm sliding here and I shoot right there, at the end of this, I'm actually going to be moving a little bit slower than if I shot at the very beginning of my slide. So that was a big difference when we were trying to one-shot Graveward, was actually shooting earlier in the beginning of the slide instead of letting the slide kind of slow down at the very end. And the way to proc your kill skills and your action skills with something like this is because we spec'd into Seeing Red, which is why I spec into Seeing Red. When I use one of my action skills, I'm going to get all of my kill skills. So all of my kill skills, as you can see on that bottom bar, are then activated by doing that. And all I'm doing here is I'm calling out my drone, and then I'm hitting the select button, or my menu button. So call out drone, select button. This will proc your ASEs because it'll technically consider your action skill starting and then ending. Proc your ASEs, proc your kill skills. And then once your kill skills and action skills are procced, you throw everything down. and then slide and shoot. And that's about all she wrote for this. You will pretty much one-shot everything. The annoying I recommend for the back burners is 200 splash. You're going to be able to activate that 200 splash because you are using that like swap thing to proc your ASCs. Now, in terms of other weapons, to do the same amount of damage in bossing, because you have to slide and shoot and you can't really like get off a lot of damage while sliding because it's a short window period of time, the back burner is just the best weapon. You can farm one from Agonizer. There really isn't anything quite like it to compare in damage besides maybe the ion cannon, but you can't really slide well with the ion cannon. So I do recommend using the back burner. I just find it easier to use for me. And that's pretty much it for the video. Modifiers, I use Speed Demon and Roguelite. You don't need Roguelite, but you don't really die on this build, so that's pretty cool because you're going to have your shield up all the time. Other than Roguelite, you could use the Post-Mortem modifier. That's a solid one as well. And yeah, guys, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. If you did, be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace!